So here we are back again in Mittenrahm at the Battle of the Brakenrahm, week 60 having just ended. Now I did show this partly in the previous stream, and I did check to see where I was at with that, and I think I was basically partly working on this, so a fair amount has been done. There's a lot of questions. I was trying to put in a, I don't know what you would call it. I think it was just meant to be a flap of, I don't call it material for lack of a better word, but because this is slightly angled, what I was doing down here where it's like 3, 2, 1, 1, suddenly it doesn't work very well when you get to the bit that's curving outwards. And I'm not quite sure what it should actually look like. So yeah, that kind of came to a halt while I'm waiting for a better idea, but I'm going to reduce these, but we'll come back to that in a minute. I did move on to the second mouth tentacle thing. The word more was not meant to be taken literally, but I do seem to be adding mouths. I was partway through this one when I was like, I'm kind of on top of this. I knew where all of the head's tentacles were going to be, pretty clear on how they were going to work, what size the tentacles coming out of the tentacles would be, twisting them, how the heads would go. I've got an idea about how to actually finish them. And I was like, well, I don't really need to do all 6 of these now. And it became, I kind of realized that it would be much more practical to do the front end of the body from which they're all emerging first. Otherwise they're going to be in the way, or these parts will all be in the way, because it's, yeah, there's a lot of moving around going to be involved, getting angles on how things would look, and yeah, I just think it will be much easier if I do the tentacles last. This is actually quite removed from what I was originally planning. This was a last minute concept. This may represent, well, I'm getting slightly ahead of myself. I think I've described this creature as not being a creature. It's a thing. It's a manifestation of the void. It doesn't have a want or a need or fear or hate or anything to it. It's quite mindless. It doesn't even decide where it's going. It just appears places. And I think maybe when it came here and was severely, well, it, in a literal sense, bit off more than it could chew, and it cost it its central tentacle. The central tentacle was kind of crystallized, turned from this manifestation into a physical object that was destroyed, effectively, introducing Mawn to the idea of death, the very thing that it was, and also the idea of pain. Basically, this hurt like hell, and it knew it. It was the first thing it probably ever experienced, and it was remembered that experience. And this spike may well be the recollection of that. It remembers the pain through this spike sticking in it or out of it. There are There are going to be 5 others. One of them's already in place. They're going to be slightly smaller. I may experiment with the next one directly below. That's actually going to be one of it. Maybe the next thing I do. This one's truncated on purpose. I may make it longer. It's important that nothing is too symmetrical. You know, I don't want the tentacles to be all doing the same thing. I don't want the markings to be the same. Nothing should be the same size. I mean, obviously the circles are approximate. Well, they are the same size, but yeah, I want to avoid that kind of thing. So this is where the central tentacle used to be. It's kind of remanifested itself just as a mouth. I'm not sure I'm happy about that. It's misleading. It doesn't eat things. It works like the Ender Dragon. It passes through an area and everything is gone afterwards. You know, it just does that. So the idea that it chews on anything is a bit silly. There's no stomach beyond this. I will be doing the part of the interior, and it's just a web and interconnecting strands. You know, it really isn't a living organism. So this didn't come out too bad. I do kind of like it. I'm experimenting with how I might decorate the surface all around. You know, if I use this, I'll apply it everywhere. Not completely thrilled with this. Most of it's actually obsidian, which is okay. It's not too bad. I have tried swapping it for other blocks. This is coal down here, which I think works. Although it doesn't work so well when it comes to transitioning into the crying obsidian. It's very messy, which is okay. Or chaotic. Yeah, I want chaotic, but I don't want messy. And I think maybe it feels a little bit too messy. Not that I know what I'm going to do about it. Which is why I've kind of moved on. But I suppose there may be something like this in all of them. But as I said, I may reduce the number of teeth here to match the ones that are here. This isn't too bad. But again, it's not really supposed to have teeth. I don't think I planned to give it teeth when I was first working on it. First conceiving on it, working on it. And when it comes to the markings, I actually remembered the original idea was a glass spires or spikes, like crystalline structures, jetting out from around the collar, I suppose. Which I may give an experiment to. I think the next panel I do, I will put some kind of project the design outwards, 5 or 10 blocks, maybe more, see what it looks like. I may then revisit them. It's going to depend, obviously. If I find myself with half an hour to kill because I completed one piece and still have time, I've started to work on the back. It's going to curve down maybe about here. Obviously the bottom curve disappears into the no build area. So it's going to probably cut across like that, and then the bits down here will be very broken up. I want to try and create the impression that it is emerging out of the void. But yeah, it's there's a lot of design questions that I've been dealing with, but it's not surprising. But it goes relatively smoothly. Yeah, I'm going to move on to one of these 2 projections. I might go clockwise, just for the hell of it. And just, as I say, fill in back. You can see there's an anomaly with the design of the outer circle. I could see it a while ago. There's a slight kink of edges around about here, and it looks like it's a very faint octagon, a very smooth, curved octagon. And I think I've basically just not done the circle properly, which isn't surprising. I was completely eyeballing it freehand. But you can see that if these circles are supposed to be evenly spaced from here, and I've been asking myself, well, how did I decide where the evenly spaced bit was? Like, okay, so that's the middle. Well, putting these two at the right place is easy. But I don't remember how I settled on where these were. I'm sure I projected a line out at what was supposed to be a 60-degree angle and worked out where the middle ought to be. But you can see, you know, there's quite a gap here and none here. So yeah, I assume these should be further away. But as I say, it's really not that important. So I'm not going to do anything about it. I mean, look at this. Look at it. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I don't imagine this will be finished by the next video in 2 weeks, but maybe close. Maybe the front will be nearly done. The interior structure, which will be partly visible, so I need to do it. That will probably still be in progress. It's quite a big space, obviously, but it's not very detailed. It's not like I'm putting in lots of floors with rooms and stopping to do the occasional piece of decoration. But yeah, I promise I will definitely, when I'm done, I will be upping the render distance so that we can get a good look at the entire thing. Yeah. Anyway, on that nearly blank note, I shall say adieu and get on with it.